on Tisha B'Av, we mentioned the 10 Esuri Malchus. 10 Esuri Malchus is the 10 martyrs. These are the 10 great sages that were murdered. They weren't just murdered, but they were burned, they had their skin taken off of them, they were beheaded, their flesh was combed with iron combs. So the Kasha, and this is supposed to be the epitome, the example of Kiddush Hashem. Kiddush Hashem, in other words, dying for the sake of God. And when the people of the world sees how these rabbis died, that they kept the Torah and they did everything right, they were really dying for the sake of God. But the question is, what is this idea of dying for the sake of God? Sadik Varalo. How can it be that a righteous person, a person spends all his life learning Torah and doing mitzvahs, dies in such a horrific manner? What is that? Sadik Varalo. The righteous person gets bad? This is one of the greatest philosophical questions that we have in Judaism. And how could it be that a righteous person gets bad? He's doing the right thing. So we know Chazal tells us. Rav Yishmael, Kohen Agadol, went up to the heaven. He wanted to ask, he wanted to find out, is this really a decree? Are we supposed to die? Are we supposed to do Kiddush Hashem or not? And it says that when he was dying, the Romans were taking off his skin, were flaying his skin. And the angels screamed out, Zu Torah v'zu schara? This is the Torah and this is its reward? Is this what a righteous person who spends all his days learning and davening, is this what he gets? This is his reward? So Hashem says back to the angels, quiet, be quiet. If you're not quiet, I'm going to put back the world to tohu vavohu, to emptiness and void. I'm going to destroy the whole world. I'm going to bring it back to the 0 point, to the point before the creation. So if Shlomo Kluger asks the kasha like this, he wants to explain. He says, is it possible that a child would ask his teacher in class an unbelievable question, a great question, and the teacher says to the child, shut up, and if not, I'm going to kick you out of the class? That's not the proper way. That's what happened here. There's a great question. Is this the Zu Torah v'zu schara? Why Hashem said shut up? So he explains with a mashal. One time there was a tailor, and the tailor had to make clothes for the king. So the king gave him a lot of expensive material, and he's going to make the clothes. So after he made the clothes, he made these wonderful clothes, and the king was very happy. A rumor started to go out that maybe the tailor took some of the material and put it on the side for himself. And the rumor got stronger and stronger. The king started to get nervous. So he went to the king. So the king went to the tailor. He says, listen, I want you to prove to me that you didn't steal any material on the side. So the tailor says, no problem, but I have to take the garment apart. He starts to take the garment apart. He's going to spread out all the material from the garment to show you that all the material was used. The same thing here. Hashem said to the angels, no, quiet. And if not, I'm going to return the world back to void, back to 0 point. If you want to understand why the righteous suffer, I'm going to have to go back, way back to the creation of the world. In other words, Hashem is saying, listen, there's a plan here. You only see part of the plan. You want to understand the entire plan, I'm going to have to take you all the way back to the beginning of the creation of the world. There's a reason. We have to assume that what's happening is good. We don't understand that 100%. We don't understand why. But Hashem knows what he's doing, and whatever Hashem does is good. That's one example. So there's another story here. He brings down one time, a little boy was playing outside the stipler's window or something like this. And he was making all kinds of noise, this and that. And the boy was throwing a ball, and he was doing this. At a certain point, the stipler called the boy over and gave him a patch. And the boy ran home, and he told his mother, listen, the stipler gave me a patch. Oh, the mother says, oh, the gadol, what were you doing? You're bothering the gadol door. What's going to be with this boy? What's going to be with him? The gadol door gave him a patch. He's going to turn out, who knows what's going to happen to him. So in other words, why does he deserve a patch from the gadol door? So the mother was so nervous, she couldn't wait for the father to come home. She wanted to go speak to the stipler, and she ran out the door. And she saw a very distinguished man, and she couldn't hold back. She said, my son just got patched by the stipler. What should I do? I'm so nervous, I'll go speak to him. What should I do? So the man says to him, listen, don't worry, When I was a little boy one time, I was playing outside the window I was also playing outside, and it happens to be I got a patch from the Chazon Ish. He said he got a patch from the Chazon Ish. But everything turned out okay. So he said, you know who I am? I'm the son of the stipler. The Chazon Ish was my uncle. I was playing outside, and the Chazon Ish, and then my mother also ran to the Chazon Ish, and she said, well, no, what's going to be with my son? You patched him. What's the matter with this boy that he deserves such a patch? No, the Chazon Ish, and then the Chazon Ish said to the Chazon Ish, this is the first boy that I ever patched. I never patched a boy before. So the mother got even more nervous. The Chazon Ish never patched it, and the only boy that ever patched was my son. And so the Stipler's son, Kavanetsky, said, everything that I ever became was because of that patch that I got from the Chazon Ish. So don't think it's such a bad thing. In other words, that patch that he got, another example basically of that even though Hashem is punishing us, even though it's in 9 days and in 3 weeks and the destruction of the temple, we have to understand for its good. But this is really my chiddush. This is what I heard this chiddush, but this is to me it touches my heart. That was basically Gamzula Tova. We can understand everything for the good, but really that's not the highest level. The highest level Mesiras Yesharim brings down here, when a person really loves Hashem, he doesn't care. It's not a question of Gamzu, that it's good or not good. He says like this: the love of God shouldn't depend on any extra factor. Not because he's going to grant some wealth or success or anything like that. It shouldn't depend on anything. A second. It's like a doctor, if a doctor operates on a person. So you understand the doctor, he's really cutting, the Hashem cut, and the doctor cuts, and you understand for the person's good. Yeah, that's a Gamzula Tova. He said that level is for the regular guy. But those with true understanding, you got to hear this. This is mamish gewaltig. However, those with true understanding don't even need this explanation, for they are entirely motivated by no they have no self-interest. Their whole goal is to magnify the glory of Hashem. And therefore what? And Adarabah, the more deterrents that cross their path, making it necessary to give more of themselves to counteract them, the more their hearts will fortify themselves. The more bad things that happen to him, they're like really saying, Hashem, bring it on. Hashem, I love you. They're saying, bring it on. Yeah, what? I know it's us, but this is what he's saying. Look what he's saying. The more deterrents that cross their path, making it necessary to give more of themselves to counteract themselves, the more their hearts will fortify themselves and rejoice to show their strength in their faith. Just as a general fame for his strength. They're not asking more. But they're happy when they get all these Isurim because they want to show, they want to bring. Yeah, right, exactly. It brings God into the world. It brings a greater Kiddush Hashem. It will always thrust themselves. It's like a general who wants to throw himself into the heart of the battle, where the victory will serve even more to show his strength. The joy comes from every opportunity, and intensity for one's love is well known to whatever. Okay.
He wants to demonstrate his love.
He wants to, right. But this is Gavaltic. This is the real highest level. In other words, the person has these surim. Yeah. The person has these surim. It's not that he says Gamzula Tova. He says, listen, Hashem, I love you. Hashem, whatever you want, I know, I happen to be, I know it's Gamzula Tova, in other words, but I really, really trust God. I really, really do. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know what's happened. Hashem, you want that? I need parnassa. Okay, you want me to do this? You want me to do that? You want me to have all these isurim? I don't know. It doesn't even matter. You understand? It doesn't even matter. But this is my chiddush. In other words, on Tisha B'av, we get into this Indian of Avelis, right? We're mourning. What's mourning? Loss. Loss means I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I don't have this, and I'm missing that. And our whole life is focused on, our whole worrying and our suffering is like, listen, I don't have enough money, and I got this problem with my wife, so I got these kids, I got all these things that I don't have. So it brings to the foreground the suffering that we have as individuals and suffering we have as Jewish people. What's the answer to that question? I don't care. Not that I don't care. Hashem, I love you. Hashem, I love you. Whatever you want to do to me, do it. That's what you think is for me? Fine. You want me to have parnasa problems? No problem, Hashem. You want to do this? It doesn't matter because everything that Hashem gives, if I can be samech and if I can have a munah through all this, it just brings Hashem more into the world. It eliminates all the problems. It's a high level. I don't say no, but it's definitely something that you understand when a person can really think about this and he can make that jump and make that move. Say, Hashem, whatever you want. Destroyed the base of Mikdash. This suffering. I mean, can you imagine all the Holocaust? Can you imagine a person go through the Holocaust? I mean, we can't imagine. It doesn't take. Right. Exactly. You can't take it, but that's called giving to Hashem. I still believe in you no matter what. That's part of the message that we have to get from the 9 days in Tisha B'Av. Even in our suffering, Hashem, I love you, and I assume that if Hashem would say, "Listen, I don't want to explain to you. I have to bring the world back to Tov V'Voh. I can't explain to you." That was the mashal there. But whatever, Hashem, you know best. Hashem knows best what I need and what I don't need. Okay.